The quest for understanding reality metaphysics takes us beyond the visible world into the deepest questions of existence. This philosophical journey bridges ancient wisdom with modern scientific inquiry. It invites us to consider what lies beyond our sensory perceptions and invites us to grapple with inquiry into the very fabric of being. In doing so, it offers a profound exploration of the nature of reality itself, what it is, what it means to exist, and what constitutes the essence of things. To embark on this monumental journey requires us to engage with the thoughts of great philosophers whose intellectual pursuits have shaped metaphysics. We can trace the roots of this philosophical discipline back to the ancient Greeks. Thinkers such as Parmenides and Heraclitus set the stage for complex metaphysical inquiry. Parmenides famously posited that change is an illusion, and that being, in its most fundamental sense, is unchangeable and eternal. In stark contrast, Heraclitus proclaimed that everything is in a state of flux, famously stating, "You cannot step into the same river twice." These early dialectics set forth the paradoxes of existence. Should we view the universe as a stable construct, or is it a dynamic, ever-evolving tapestry? As we move through history, the reflections of Plato introduce us to the world of forms, an essential concept in metaphysical thought. For Plato, the tangible world is but a shadowy representation of a higher reality composed of eternal forms or ideas. This separation of the physical from the metaphysical raises questions about our perceptions. How can we ascertain that what we perceive is an accurate reflection of a deeper truth? Aristotle, Plato's pupil, grounded metaphysical inquiry in the concept of substance and essence, distinguishing between what things are and their attributes. Through his exploration of potentiality and actuality, Aristotle presented the idea that all beings are in a constant state of transition from potential to actualized forms of existence. This framework laid the groundwork for centuries of metaphysical debate on causation, identity, and the nature of change. Throughout the Middle Ages, metaphysics became heavily intertwined with theology. Thinkers like St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas integrated Aristotelian philosophy with Christian doctrine, pondering essential questions around the existence of God, the nature of the soul, and the relationship between faith and reason. Augustine's notion of time and eternity presents a metaphysical riddle, suggesting that while we perceive time as linear and fragmented, God exists outside of time, perceiving all moments simultaneously. Such inquiries illuminate the complexities of existence from both temporal and eternal perspectives. The Enlightenment, marked by a shift towards reason and empirical inquiry, led to a re-evaluation of metaphysics. Figures such as René Descartes, with cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am, grappled with the nature of existence from a foundational standpoint, positing that the act of doubt and thought affirms the existence of the self. Concurrently, Immanuel Kant revolutionized metaphysics by introducing the idea that our knowledge of reality is constrained by the limits of human perception. He delineated between phenomena, the world as we know it, and noumena, the things in themselves that elude our understanding. Kant's assertions compel us to question how much we can actually know about the essence of reality when our perceptions are mediated by mental filters. Moving into the 19th and 20th centuries, philosophers such as George Berkeley, Friedrich Nietzsche, and Martin Heidegger further expanded metaphysical discourse. Berkeley's subjective idealism posits that existence is contingent upon perception, encapsulating the radical idea that if no one perceives an object, it ceases to exist. Nietzsche, with his proclamation of the death of God, challenges the foundations of metaphysics steeped in absolutes, advocating instead for a perspective that embraces the fluidity and multiplicity of truth. Heidegger, in his exposition of being, invites us to consider not just what exists, but the very nature of existence, suggesting that our understanding of being is intricately tied to our human experience. In contemporary discourse, metaphysics has encountered challenges from various quarters, particularly in light of scientific advancements. The rise of quantum physics and theories about the fundamental nature of reality has introduced concepts such as entanglement and uncertainty that defy classical metaphysical intuitions. The dialogue between metaphysics and science continues to evolve, with some contemporary philosophers advocating for a more pragmatic approach to metaphysical questions. The vibrant tapestry of metaphysical thought reveals that the quest to understand reality is as dynamic and multifaceted as existence itself. It crosses disciplinary boundaries, interweaving with ethics, epistemology, and even linguistics, as we endeavor to articulate our understanding of the universe. Each era's thinkers contribute layers to this intellectual edifice, creating a rich dialogue that humbles us in its complexity. In pursuing answers to life's most profound inquiries, metaphysics reminds us that understanding reality is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a journey of discovery, one that reflects our deepest instincts to seek meaning and coherence in an intricately woven cosmos. As we conclude this exploration, let us carry with us the recognition that metaphysical inquiry is an ever-evolving dialogue. It challenges us to ask fundamental questions, encourages us to be comfortable with uncertainty, and compels us to appreciate the profound mystery inherent in existence. In this unfolding quest for understanding, we find not only the essence of reality, but also the essence of our human experience, an endeavor worth pursuing for generations to come. What is metaphysics? At its core, metaphysics is a branch of philosophy that engages in the exploration of the most profound and abstract concepts concerning reality. It investigates ultimate reality beyond mere physical appearances, seeking foundational truths about existence itself. In doing so, metaphysics asks questions that resonate through the ages. What is the nature of being? What does it mean to exist? How do we differentiate between the essence of things and their manifestations? These queries form the scaffolding upon which metaphysical inquiry relies, as it pursues understanding that transcends superficial observations and the ephemeral experiences of everyday life. One of the central concerns of metaphysics is the nature of being itself. This encompasses a detailed examination of the fundamental character of existence, consciousness, and what constitutes reality. Thinkers throughout history have grappled with the essence of being, positing various theories that explore the distinctions between different modes of existence. Philosophers like Martin Heidegger elucidate the complexity of being, urging us to consider not just what exists, but the very nature of existence itself. This inquiry encourages us to ponder profound questions. Is being simply a property that belongs to entities, or is it something more fundamental that underpins the universe? What is the distinction between existence and essence? In addressing such questions, metaphysics sheds light on our understanding of selfhood, the relationship between mind and body, and the nature of consciousness. Another pivotal characteristic of metaphysics is its exploration beyond the realms of empirical observation. While science is grounded in the observable and measurable, metaphysics ventures into territories that empirical science cannot adequately address. It asks questions that transcend direct measurement and observable phenomena, delving into the conceptual underpinnings that govern our understanding of the world. For instance, the metaphysical implications of concepts such as time, space, causality, and possibility require investigation that goes beyond scientific inquiry. What is time? Does it exist independently of our perception? What does it mean for one event to cause another? These questions demand a different mode of inquiry, one that emphasizes logical analysis and philosophical reflection rather than empirical validation. Moreover, metaphysics also grapples with the nature of universals and particulars, exploring the relationship between abstract entities such as properties and categories and concrete objects. This exploration leads to debates regarding realism and nominalism, as well as discussions on the existence of abstract objects, an area rich with philosophical implications for how we understand language, mathematics, and even concepts like justice and beauty. In summary, metaphysics encompasses a broad and intricate field that extends beyond the confines of physical reality and empirical science. Its investigation into the nature of being, consciousness, and reality enriches our understanding of existence itself, while its commitments to those fundamental questions invite ongoing inquiry. By engaging with the metaphysical, we embark on a journey through the depths of existence, urging us to contemplate the mysteries that lie at the heart of our conscious experience and the universe we inhabit. Ultimately, metaphysics not only enriches philosophical discourse but also fosters an enduring curiosity about the world and our place within it. Historical origins. The historical origins of metaphysics can be traced back to ancient Greece, where a rich tapestry of philosophical thought began to unfurl. It was during this time that metaphysical inquiry first took root, largely propelled by the pre-Socratic philosophers. Thinkers such as Thales, Anaximander, and Heraclitus laid the groundwork for metaphysical reasoning by questioning the fundamental nature of reality. They ventured beyond mere superstition and myth, seeking to uncover the underlying principles that govern existence. Thales, for instance, posited that water was the foundational substance of all things, while Heraclitus famously proclaimed the idea of constant change, suggesting that everything flows. In doing so, these early philosophers sparked a new way of thinking, prompting inquiries into the nature of substance, permanence, and the relationship between the physical world and foundational truths. As metaphysical inquiry progressed, Aristotle emerged as a pivotal figure whose contributions would shape the discipline for centuries to come. In his extensive body of work, Aristotle constructed a systematic approach to understanding the physical world and the principles underlying it. While his treatise, known as Physics, addressed the observable universe, he also sought to articulate more abstract philosophical principles. It was his later works that he classified under the title Metaphysics, a term derived from the Greek word meta, meaning beyond or after. In doing so, Aristotle established metaphysics as a distinct discipline concerned with questions that go beyond the physical, focusing on topics such as existence, substances, causality, and the nature of being. He proposed the concept of substance as a fundamental element of reality and began to explore the distinctions between potentiality and actuality, which remain central themes in metaphysical discourse. While Greek philosophy laid the initial foundations of metaphysical thought, the discipline did not remain confined to the Mediterranean world. Metaphysical traditions evolved independently across civilizations, notably in ancient China, India, and the Islamic world. In China, thinkers such as Laozi and Confucius investigated the nature of reality and existence, emphasizing harmony with the universe and the moral implications of human existence. The Taoist notion of the Tao, or the Way, encapsulated metaphysical considerations of how life should be lived in accordance with the underlying principles of the universe. In India, various schools of thought, including Hinduism and Buddhism, contributed significantly to metaphysical discussions. Concepts such as Brahman, the ultimate reality, and the relationship between Atman, the individual self, and Brahman illustrate profound metaphysical inquiries about the essence of existence, the nature of selfhood, and the cycle of life and rebirth. Notably, Buddhist philosophy introduced radical ideas about the nature of reality, emphasizing impermanence and the notion of anatta, or non-self, which challenges conventional understandings of identity and existence. The Islamic world also witnessed a flourishing of metaphysical thought during the medieval period, particularly with thinkers such as Avicenna and Averroes, who synthesized Greek philosophical insights with Islamic theology. Avicenna's metaphysical works delved into the nature of existence, essence, and the existence of God, further enriching the dialogue that had begun in antiquity. In conclusion, the historical origins of metaphysics reveal a rich and diverse tapestry of thought that spans cultures and civilizations, each contributing unique perspectives on the nature of reality. From the inquisitive minds of ancient Greece questioning the essence of being, to the sophisticated metaphysical frameworks developed in Asia and the Islamic world, metaphysical inquiry has emerged as a universal pursuit that reflects humanity's enduring quest for understanding. Through these various traditions, we witness the evolution of metaphysical thought, which continues to resonate as it challenges us to engage with the most profound questions of existence and the nature of reality itself. Fundamental philosophical questions. Engaging with metaphysics invariably leads us to grapple with a series of fundamental philosophical questions that probe the essence of existence and the nature of reality. Each of these inquiries invites deep reflection, often illuminating the intricacies of both human understanding and the cosmos itself. At the forefront is the question of the nature of reality. What makes something real? This inquiry prompts us to consider the distinction between that which is perceived and that which is truly existent. Is there an objective reality that exists independently of our minds, or is reality profoundly shaped by our perceptions and interpretations? Philosophers have long debated this issue, wrestling with the implications of subjective experience versus a shared objective world. Some, like the idealists, suggest that reality is fundamentally mental or spiritual, while others, like the realists, argue for the existence of an independent material world that persists regardless of individual perception. This foundational question invites further exploration into the criteria we use to ascertain the reality of objects, concepts, and experiences. Another pivotal question lies in the domain of free will. Do humans possess genuine choice in their actions, or are our decisions predetermined by factors beyond our control? This inquiry challenges our understanding of morality, responsibility, and agency. Determinists argue that every action is the result of preceding causes, be they biological, environmental, or psychological, implying that the notion of free will is an illusion. On the contrary, libertarians contend that humans have the capacity to make genuine choices, suggesting that our consciousness holds a unique power to transcend deterministic constraints. This debate raises further questions about the implications of free will for ethical decision-making and the nature of personal identity. If our actions are predetermined, what does that mean for our understanding of accountability and moral responsibility? In a similar vein, the question of what exists beyond the physical continues to captivate thinkers. Does anything exist outside the material world we can observe and measure? Philosophers have long speculated on the existence of entities such as souls, abstract ideas, and metaphysical concepts. Dualists, for instance, argue for a distinction between the mind and body, asserting that consciousness may exist in a realm separate from the physical brain. Additionally, the existence of abstract entities, such as numbers, ideals, and ethical values, raises critical metaphysical questions about their nature and reality. Are these constructs merely useful fictions, or do they possess an objective reality that shapes our understanding of the world? This inquiry invites further contemplation concerning the limits of empirical inquiry and the nature of understandings that cannot be touched or quantified. Finally, the exploration of the mind-matter relationship presents another profound metaphysical question. How does consciousness interact with the physical world? This inquiry delves into the vast terrain of philosophy of mind, where various positions, such as physicalism and dualism, contend with the relationship between mental phenomena and the physical universe. Physicalists assert that everything, including consciousness, can be explained entirely in terms of physical processes and properties. Conversely, dualists argue for a more complex interaction, positing that the mind and matter represent fundamentally distinct substances. If consciousness arises from physical processes in the brain, how do subjective experiences, what philosopher Thomas Nagel termed "what it is like to be an organism," fit into this framework? This question not only engages with aspects of neuroscience and psychology, but also intersects with discussions of selfhood, identity, and the nature of reality itself. In conclusion, the fundamental philosophical questions within metaphysics serve as critical points of inquiry that engage our deepest instincts about existence, agency, and the nature of reality. Their exploration reveals the intricate complexities that underpin our understanding of the universe, and prompts us to confront the limitations of our perceptions. Each question encourages us to reflect on our place within the tapestry of existence and our ongoing quest for meaning in a world that remains as mysterious as it is familiar. Through these inquiries, metaphysics continues to foster a conversation that bridges disciplines, challenges convictions, and nurtures a profound curiosity about the essence of reality and our role within it. Ontology, the study of being. Ontology, a central branch of metaphysics, is fundamentally concerned with the study of being and existence. It delves into the various components that constitute reality, examining the nature of entities, their properties, and the relationships that connect them. In exploring ontology, we engage with some of the most profound questions regarding what it means to be and how different forms of existence relate to one another. One of the primary focuses of ontology is the classification of categories of existence. This endeavor involves sorting entities into various types, which can encompass everything from physical objects and living organisms to abstract concepts and ideas. Philosophers like Aristotle pioneered this categorical approach, establishing a framework that distinguishes between different modes of being. He identified various categories, such as substances, qualities, relations, and quantities, providing a structured way to understand the myriad entities that populate our experience. This classification system is crucial for organizing our understanding of the world and for facilitating further inquiry into the nature of these entities. Building on these categories, ontology also examines the relationships that exist among different entities. How do these entities interact, and what is the nature of their connections? Existential relationships can encompass various forms, from causal connections and spatial relationships to more abstract associations, such as those found in logical or conceptual frameworks. The inquiry into relationships raises questions about dependency and independence, prompting further analysis about how entities are interconnected within a broader ontological framework. For instance, can the existence of one entity depend on another, or can some entities exist as self-sufficient realities? By exploring these interrelations, we gain deeper insights into the complexity of existence itself. Another crucial aspect of ontology involves the properties of entities, distinguishing between essential qualities and accidental attributes. Essential properties are those foundational characteristics that define what an entity is and cannot be changed without altering its fundamental identity. For example, the essence of a triangle is its three-sided nature. Accidental properties, on the other hand, are attributes that a being can possess without them being a defining feature. For instance, the color of a car or the height of a person may vary without affecting their core identity. This distinction illuminates how we understand identity, variation, and permanence in the entities around us, leading to deeper inquiries into the nature of essence itself. Central to many ontological discussions is the concept of substance, which refers to the fundamental building blocks of reality. Substance ontology seeks to determine what it means for something to be a substance and what underlying structures constitute the essence of things. This inquiry often involves engaging with debates between different ontological theories such as materialism, which posits that only physical substances exist, and immaterialism, which may argue for the existence of non-physical entities like minds or souls. The concept of substance also invites contemplation about the attributes of substances themselves and how they relate to broader universals and particulars. In essence, ontology serves as a foundational dimension of metaphysical inquiry, providing essential tools for understanding the very nature of existence. By classifying existence types, analyzing relationships, distinguishing between properties, and exploring the concept of substance, ontology seeks to illuminate the intricate web of reality. In this pursuit, it challenges us to think critically about not only what exists, but the broader implications those entities have on our understanding of the world, our place within it, and the nature of being itself. As we navigate these ontological questions, we engage with the fundamental mysteries that lie at the heart of human existence, mysteries that continue to inspire philosophical inquiry and contemplation. Epistemological foundations. Epistemology, the study of knowledge and justified belief, provides a critical framework for understanding how we acquire knowledge about the world and the nature of our understanding. It is deeply intertwined with metaphysics, as the way we know something affects how we interpret existence and being. In exploring epistemological foundations, we consider the role of perception, the nature of knowledge itself, and the limitations that constrain human understanding of the ultimate realities. At the heart of epistemology is the concept of perception, the process through which sensory experiences shape our understanding of reality. Our perceptions serve as the primary means by which we engage with the world, influencing our beliefs and interpretations of our surroundings. However, perceptions are not infallible. They are susceptible to distortion, bias, and the variability of individual experiences. This raises crucial questions. To what extent can we trust our senses to provide an accurate representation of reality? Are our perceptions mere subjective interpretations, or do they align with an objective world that exists outside of our awareness? Philosophers from Aristotle to the empiricists have grappled with these questions, emphasizing that our sensory experiences are vital for knowledge acquisition, while also cautioning against the limitations they impose. The distinction between knowledge, belief, and opinion is another foundational aspect of epistemology. Knowledge is often defined as justified true belief, emphasizing the importance of having sufficient grounds for what we assert to be true. There is a nuanced difference between mere belief, an acceptance that something is true regardless of evidence, and opinion, which conveys a less certain stance, often influenced by personal feelings or subjective preferences. Epistemologists like Plato, Descartes, and more recently, Goethe, have explored these distinctions, emphasizing the need for reliability and justification in what we claim to know. This leads to profound inquiries into what constitutes justification, as knowledge must not only align with truth but must also be grounded in credible reasoning or evidence. Hence, epistemology compels us to critically evaluate the sources of our beliefs and the processes by which we arrive at knowledge. However, these explorations must also grapple with the limitations of human understanding and knowledge, particularly regarding ultimate reality. While inquiry into existence is a cornerstone of philosophical pursuit, there exists a boundary of what humans can truly know about the underpinnings of reality. Questions such as the existence of God, the ultimate nature of consciousness, or the essence of being often invite both metaphysical inquiry and epistemological skepticism. Are there truths that lie beyond human comprehension? Can empirical methods and sensory experiences provide ultimate answers? Or are there dimensions of reality that elude our grasp entirely? These questions highlight the inherent tension between human inquiry and the limitations of our cognitive capacities. Philosophers like Kant have argued that there are noumena, things in themselves, that exist beyond our perceptual filters, suggesting that while we may understand appearances, the true essence of reality may remain inaccessible. In summary, the epistemological foundations serve as a vital counterpart to metaphysical considerations in our quest to understand existence. By examining the role of perception, clarifying the distinctions between knowledge, belief, and opinion, and acknowledging the limitations of human understanding, we enrich our exploration of reality. These inquiries challenge us to critically engage with our beliefs, to discern the nature of the world around us, and to remain open to the profound complexities that lie beyond our current grasp. Ultimately, epistemology not only shapes our understanding of what it means to know, but also enriches the broader philosophical dialogue about the nature of existence and our place within it. In the dance between what we perceive, what we believe, and what ultimately remains unknown, we find a deeper appreciation for the mysteries that characterize our ongoing search for truth. Major metaphysical perspectives. In the vast landscape of metaphysical inquiry, several major perspectives have emerged, each offering a distinct interpretation of the nature of reality and existence. These perspectives encompass a range of philosophical thought, addressing fundamental questions about the essence of being, the relationship between mind and matter, and the structure of the universe. Among these major metaphysical perspectives are idealism, materialism, dualism, and monism, each defined by its unique principles and leading figures. Idealism is a metaphysical perspective asserting that reality is fundamentally mental or spiritual in nature. Idealists argue that the material world is not the primary reality. Instead, it is an expression or manifestation of the mind or consciousness. For idealists, physical objects acquire their significance from the ideas or perceptions that shape them. Notable figures such as George Berkeley, who famously summarized his idealist position with the phrase esse est percipi, to be is to be perceived, contended that objects do not exist independently of our perceptions. GWF. Hegel contributed to idealism by proposing the concept of the absolute spirit, suggesting that reality unfolds through a process of dialectical development, wherein contradictions are reconciled to reveal a higher unity. Similarly, F. H. Bradley's work focused on the interconnectedness of all things, emphasizing that separateness is an illusion. Idealism invites profound questions about the relationship between the subjective and the objective, challenging us to consider how consciousness shapes our experience of reality. Materialism, in stark contrast, posits that physical matter is the fundamental substance of reality. According to materialists, everything that exists can be explained in terms of physical processes and substances. This perspective asserts that mental phenomena, including thoughts and consciousness, emerge from the interactions of physical matter, specifically the neural processes of the brain. Key figures like Democritus, who is often regarded as a precursor to modern atomism, argued that everything is composed of indivisible particles of matter. Thomas Hobbes contributed to materialism by emphasizing the importance of material conditions in shaping human behavior and experience. Karl Marx further developed materialist thought through historical materialism, positing that the material conditions of society, particularly economic forces, fundamentally shape social structures and human consciousness. This perspective raises crucial questions about the nature of consciousness, agency, and the interplay between the material and the mental. Dualism offers a different metaphysical view by asserting that mind and matter are distinct and irreducible to each other. This perspective posits that while the physical and mental realms are interconnected, they represent fundamentally different kinds of substances or realities. René Descartes is perhaps the most famous proponent of dualism, articulating his view that the mind, res cogitans, is a non-physical entity distinct from the body, res extensa. According to Descartes, consciousness and awareness exist separately from physical reality, leading to profound implications for questions of identity, existence, and the nature of self. Contemporary philosophers like Roderick Chisholm continue to engage with dualist themes, emphasizing the unique qualities of mental phenomena and the challenge of reconciling them with a physicalist worldview. The dualistic perspective opens up dialogues about the nature of free will, personal identity, and the implications of the relationship between the mind and the body. Lastly, Monism posits that reality is ultimately unified as a single substance or essence. This perspective challenges the apparent distinctions we observe, suggesting that they are illusory or derivative of a more profound unity that underlies existence. Philosophers like Baruch Spinoza argued for a monistic view where God and nature are not separate entities but rather two names for the same underlying reality. Spinoza's work emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things within a singular substance, advocating a holistic view of existence. Parmenides and early philosophers similarly conveyed a monistic perspective by asserting that change is an illusion and that reality is one, unchanging, and indivisible. Monism invites contemplation about the implications of unity in our understanding of diversity, challenging the ways in which we categorize and perceive the world around us. In summary, these major metaphysical perspectives, idealism, materialism, dualism, and monism, each offer distinct interpretations of the nature of reality and existence. They engage with questions surrounding the relationship between mind and matter, the essence of consciousness, and the structure of being. Collectively, they illustrate the rich diversity of thought that characterizes metaphysical inquiry, encouraging us to explore the profound mysteries that lie at the heart of our understanding of the universe and our place within it. Through these perspectives, philosophy continues to grapple with existential questions, inviting ongoing dialogue about the nature of reality and the foundations of human experience. Philosophers of metaphysics. Throughout the history of philosophy, several key figures have made significant contributions to metaphysical thought, each shaping our understanding of existence, reality, and the nature of being in unique ways. Among these philosophers, Plato, René Descartes, Immanuel Kant, and Martin Heidegger stand out for their profound insights and lasting impact on the field of metaphysics. Plato, 428–348 BCE, is often regarded as one of the foundational figures in Western philosophy, particularly in the realm of metaphysics. His development of the theory of forms posits that non-physical abstract forms, or ideas, constitute the ultimate reality behind the material world we perceive. According to Plato, the physical world is a mere shadow or reflection of these eternal and unchangeable forms. For example, while individual instances of beauty may vary, the essence of beauty itself is a singular, transcendent form that exists beyond sensory experience. This dualistic view encourages philosophical inquiry into the nature of reality, elevating the abstract over the concrete and suggesting that true knowledge comes from understanding these enduring forms rather than relying solely on empirical observation. Plato's contributions laid the groundwork for metaphysical discourse, influencing countless thinkers throughout history. René Descartes, 1596–1650, often referred to as the father of modern philosophy, introduced a critical perspective on the relationship between mind and body through his proposition of mind-body dualism. Descartes famously stated, "Cogito ergo sum," I think therefore I am, emphasizing the undeniable existence of the self as a thinking entity. He distinguished between mental substances, which encompass thoughts and consciousness, and physical substances, which occupy space and possess extension. This separation posits that the mind and body are fundamentally different in their nature. While the body is material and governed by physical laws, the mind resides in a distinct realm of thought. Descartes' dualism raised essential questions about the nature of consciousness, personal identity, and the mechanics of interaction between the two substances, stimulating ongoing debate within metaphysics and philosophy of mind. Immanuel Kant, 1724–1804, brought forth a transformative approach to metaphysics through his introduction of transcendental idealism. Kant proposed a critical distinction between appearances, the world as we experience it through our senses, and things in themselves, the underlying reality that exists independently of our perception. He argued that our knowledge of the world is mediated by the structures of human cognition, which impose certain categories and concepts onto our experiences. This perspective implies that while we can know phenomena, the world as it appears to us, our access to noumena, or the things in themselves, is fundamentally limited. Kant's critical philosophy challenged previous metaphysical models, emphasizing the role of human perception in shaping our understanding of reality. His work opened up new avenues for inquiry into the nature of knowledge, experience, and the limits of human understanding. Martin Heidegger, 1889–1976, profoundly explored existential questions and the meaning of being itself. Heidegger's work represents a shift towards existential phenomenology, wherein he sought to uncover the nature of existence and being through an analysis of human experience. In his seminal work, Being and Time, Heidegger posed the question of what it means to be, emphasizing that understanding being is central to the human condition. He argued that traditional metaphysical approaches often overlooked the importance of existence and its temporal, historical, and relational dimensions. Heidegger emphasized concepts such as Dasein, the being that is conscious of its own existence, and the significance of situatedness in understanding reality. His existential approach reoriented metaphysical inquiry toward the lived experience of being, urging philosophers to consider the conditions under which meaning arises. In conclusion, the contributions of philosophers such as Plato, René Descartes, Immanuel Kant, and Martin Heidegger have significantly shaped the domain of metaphysics, each offering profound insights into the nature of reality, the relationship between mind and matter, and the essence of existence. Their inquiries continue to resonate within philosophical discourse, inviting new generations to delve into the mysteries of being and our understanding of the universe. Through their explorations, they invite us to grapple with the fundamental questions of existence, encouraging ongoing contemplation and dialogue in the rich field of metaphysical thought. Quantum mechanics and metaphysics. The intersection of quantum mechanics and metaphysics reveals profound implications for our understanding of reality, particularly as the findings of modern physics challenge long-held assumptions about the nature of existence. This relationship prompts us to reconsider fundamental metaphysical questions and to explore how the principles of quantum mechanics relate to broader inquiries about being, knowledge, and the nature of the universe. One of the central features of quantum mechanics is the concept of quantum uncertainty, famously articulated through Werner Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. This principle highlights a fundamental limit to what can be known about a quantum system. Specifically, it asserts that certain pairs of physical properties, such as position and momentum, cannot both be precisely determined simultaneously. As one attempts to measure one property with greater accuracy, the uncertainty in the measurement of the other property increases. This principle challenges the classical deterministic view of physics, suggesting that at a fundamental level, the behavior of particles is characterized not by certainty, but by probability. The implications of this uncertainty extend beyond the technicalities of physics, raising metaphysical questions about the very nature of reality itself. If certainty is inherently unattainable, what can we meaningfully know about the universe? Compounding the philosophical implications of quantum mechanics is the phenomenon known as the observer effect. In quantum mechanics, the act of measurement appears to affect the state of a quantum system, fundamentally altering its behavior. For instance, when observing a particle, it may behave as either a wave or a particle, depending on the measurement process. As such, the observer plays an integral role in determining the outcome of a quantum phenomenon. This challenges the notion of an objective reality that exists independently of observation. Traditionally, metaphysics has held that reality is something that persists regardless of whether it is observed. However, the findings of quantum mechanics suggest that the very act of observing may shape reality itself. This leads to deeper philosophical inquiries into the nature of consciousness, the role of the observer, and whether reality is a fixed entity or a dynamic process contingent upon perception. A particularly intriguing aspect of quantum mechanics is quantum entanglement, in which particles can become correlated in such a way that the state of one particle instantaneously influences the state of another, regardless of the distance separating them. This phenomenon has been famously described as spooky action at a distance by Albert Einstein, who was skeptical of its implications. Quantum entanglement suggests a profound interconnectedness that transcends local interactions, thereby challenging classical notions of separateness and individuality. This raises metaphysical questions about the nature of identity and the structure of reality itself. If particles can be so fundamentally interconnected, what does that mean for our understanding of the distinctions between entities? Does it imply that all things are, in some sense, interconnected, blurring the boundaries of what we perceive as separate entities? Moreover, quantum entanglement has inspired a re-evaluation of concepts such as causality and locality, provoking philosophical debates about determinism, randomness, and the nature of time. In light of these entangled states, questions arise regarding the nature of cause and effect, and whether classical laws of physics apply in the same way at the quantum level. Such contemplations have broad implications not only for physics but also for our metaphysical frameworks. In summary, quantum mechanics invites us into a rich dialogue with metaphysics, challenging established notions about knowledge, objectivity, and the interconnectedness of reality. The principles of quantum uncertainty, the observer effect, and quantum entanglement propel us toward deeper philosophical inquiries that question the very nature of existence. Through these explorations, we encounter a universe that is far more intricate and mysterious than previously conceived, one that compels us to reconsider our metaphysical assumptions and embrace the openness of inquiry. The relationship between quantum mechanics and metaphysics ultimately underscores the continuing evolution of human understanding, encouraging us to probe the enigmatic qualities of reality that lie at the intersection of science and philosophy. Consciousness and existence. The relationship between consciousness and existence represents one of the most profound and challenging inquiries in metaphysics, encouraging both philosophical and scientific exploration. At the heart of this inquiry are differing perspectives on the nature of consciousness, each revealing significant implications for our understanding of reality and being. Among the key perspectives are physicalism, dualism, panpsychism, and mysticism, each offering distinct insights into the fundamental nature of consciousness and its role within the universe. Physicalism asserts that consciousness emerges entirely from brain activity and that there is no separate mental substance existing apart from the physical processes of the brain. According to this view, mental phenomena are the result of complex interactions within neural networks and biochemical processes, and all conscious experiences can ultimately be explained in terms of physical states. This perspective aligns with the scientific emphasis on empirical investigation, suggesting that understanding the brain will unlock the mysteries of consciousness. Physicalism raises critical questions about the nature of self, identity, and the criteria for knowledge. If consciousness is entirely reducible to physical processes, what implications does that have for concepts like free will, personal identity, and moral responsibility? Moreover, how do subjective experiences, often described as qualitative or phenomenological, arise from purely physical interactions? In contrast, dualism posits that consciousness is a non-physical phenomenon, thereby asserting that the mind exists independently of physical reality. Dualists, particularly those influenced by René Descartes, argue for a distinct separation between the mental and the physical realms, proposing that consciousness encompasses qualities that cannot be fully explained by material processes alone. This perspective raises significant philosophical questions about the nature of consciousness and its interaction with the physical world. How does a non-physical mind affect a physical body? What is the nature of the self, if it operates separately from the brain? Dualism also invites discussions about personal identity, suggesting that individuals persist as conscious beings in ways that transcend material existence, thus allowing for considerations of life after death and the enduring nature of the self. Panpsychism represents another intriguing perspective, positing that consciousness is fundamental to reality and that everything possesses some form of consciousness or subjective experience. This view suggests that rather than being an exclusive feature of complex organisms, consciousness pervades the universe, existing at varying degrees in all matter. For panpsychists, even elementary particles may possess rudimentary forms of consciousness. This perspective invites a radically different understanding of existence, as it shifts the focus from an anthropocentric view of consciousness to the notion that every component of reality contributes to a collective experience of consciousness. If everything has some degree of consciousness, what does that imply for relationality among entities, the nature of perception, and the interconnectedness of existence itself? Panpsychism challenges the boundaries of what we typically consider sentient beings and urges us to rethink the relationship between mind and matter in a more integrated manner. Lastly, mysticism offers a unique lens on consciousness, often positing that transcendent experiences can serve as pathways to ultimate reality. Mystical traditions across cultures frequently assert that through heightened states of awareness, introspection, or altered states of consciousness, individuals can access profound truths about the nature of existence and the cosmos. These experiences, described as spiritual revelations or moments of enlightenment, are regarded as transformative, suggesting that consciousness serves as a conduit to deeper understandings of reality. Mysticism thus invites philosophical inquiries into the nature of consciousness itself. Can consciousness transcend ordinary perceptions and connect with a greater reality? How do subjective, transcendent experiences relate to the structure of existence? Mystical perspectives challenge the limits of rational understanding, suggesting that experiences beyond ordinary consciousness hold essential truths about existence and the interconnectedness of all things. In conclusion, the exploration of consciousness and existence reveals a rich tapestry of perspectives that deepen our understanding of both. From the reductionist approach of physicalism to the distinct separateness of dualism, the inclusive nature of panpsychism, and the transformative insights offered by mysticism, each perspective contributes unique insights into the nature of reality. The inquiry into consciousness challenges us to confront our assumptions about existence, identity, and the fabric of the universe itself. As we engage with these diverse viewpoints, we invite a broader dialogue on the essence of consciousness and its relationship to existence, ultimately revealing the complexities that characterize our quest for understanding in the vast realm of metaphysics. Free will and determinism. The intricate relationship between free will and determinism has long been a central topic of philosophical inquiry, prompting profound questions about moral responsibility, agency, and the nature of choice. At the heart of this discussion lie three major positions: hard determinism, compatibilism, and libertarianism, each presenting a distinct perspective on the nature of human agency and the extent of autonomy in decision-making. Hard determinism posits that all events, including human choices and actions, are necessitated by prior events in accordance with causal laws. This perspective rejects the notion of free will altogether, asserting that every decision we make is the result of a complex web of preceding circumstances, including genetics, environment, upbringing, and societal influences. Proponents of hard determinism argue that if our choices are influenced by a chain of prior causes, we cannot claim authentic agency over our actions. This raises significant implications for moral responsibility. If individuals do not possess the freedom to choose otherwise, can they be justly held accountable for their actions? Hard determinism aligns closely with a scientific view of the universe, suggesting a deterministic framework akin to the laws of physics, where each event is a part of an unbroken sequence of cause and effect. In contrast, compatibilism seeks to reconcile the notion of free will with a deterministic framework. Compatibilists maintain that free will can exist even if our choices are influenced or determined by prior events. According to this view, free will is understood not as the absence of constraints, but rather as the ability to act in accordance with one's desires, intentions, and rational deliberations. Compatibilists argue that as long as individuals can reflect upon their choices and make decisions aligned with their internal motivations, they can be considered to possess free will. This perspective presents a more nuanced understanding of autonomy, wherein freedom is defined in terms of voluntary action rather than sheer independence from causation. Compatibilism also addresses the moral implications of accountability, suggesting that individuals can be held responsible for their actions even if those actions are part of a larger causal framework, provided they act according to their reasons and desires. Lastly, libertarianism asserts that humans possess genuine freedom to choose, rejecting the deterministic view that all events are predetermined. Libertarians argue that individuals have the capacity to make choices independent of prior causes, emphasizing the importance of agency, alternative possibilities, and self-determination. This perspective prioritizes the notion of moral responsibility, positing that for individuals to be held accountable for their actions, they must possess the freedom to have acted differently. Libertarians often invoke concepts like self-ownership and emphasize the significance of personal agency in ethical discussions. By advocating for the existence of undetermined choices, libertarians confront the implications of determinism head-on, arguing for a robust understanding of free will that is essential for moral and ethical considerations. In conclusion, the discourse surrounding free will and determinism reveals complex philosophical debates about the nature of human agency, moral responsibility, and the constraints of causation. Hard determinism presents a worldview where choices arise from a sequence of prior events, casting doubt on the authenticity of free will. Compatibilism offers a reconciliation between determinism and agency, reinterpreting free will within a deterministic framework. In contrast, libertarianism emphasizes the genuine autonomy of individuals to choose their paths, affirming the importance of freedom in moral considerations. As we navigate these positions, we are compelled to reflect on the essence of agency, the nature of our choices, and what it means to be a responsible moral agent in a potentially deterministic universe. Through this exploration, we confront not only the philosophical intricacies of free will and determinism, but also fundamental questions about human existence and the fabric of our experiences. Time and causality. The concepts of time and causality are integral to our understanding of existence and how we interpret the unfolding of events in the universe. Philosophical inquiry into these topics reveals a rich diversity of perspectives that challenge our intuitions and prompt deeper reflections on the nature of reality. Key frameworks in this exploration include linear time, cyclical time, the block universe theory, and causal networks, each offering unique insights into how we perceive temporal experiences and causal relationships. Linear time is the most commonly accepted perception of time, characterized by its unidirectional flow from the past through the present and into the future. This perspective posits that time is an irreversible continuum, where events follow one another sequentially. In a linear framework, past events influence the present, and present actions decide future outcomes. This view of time permeates our everyday experiences and underpins many scientific theories, particularly in classical physics, where time is viewed as a constant measurable dimension that drives change and growth. However, the assumption of linearity raises important philosophical questions about determinism, free will, and the nature of change. If time flows in one direction, how do we understand the concepts of fate, potentiality, and the possibility of altering future events? In contrast, cyclical time presents a worldview where events repeat in patterns or broader cosmic cycles. This perspective is prevalent in various philosophical and spiritual traditions, suggesting that rather than perceiving time as a straight line, we understand it as a series of recurring events. For instance, many ancient cultures, including those influenced by Hinduism and Buddhism, view time as a cycle involving birth, death, and rebirth. In cyclical time, events within a particular period may echo or repeat, offering a rhythm of existence that emphasizes regeneration and continuity. This perspective challenges the notion of linear progress, leading to contemplations about life's purpose, the nature of existence, and the interplay between individual agency and larger cosmic forces. The block universe theory presents another intriguing conceptualization of time, proposing that the past, present, and future all exist simultaneously within a four-dimensional space-time continuum. From this perspective, time is not an ever-flowing river, but a static landscape where every moment is fixed, akin to viewing a film as a completed strip rather than experiencing it frame by frame. In a block universe, the distinctions between past, present, and future are an illusion, and all events coexist in a unified totality. This notion has profound implications for our understanding of causality, choice, and the nature of being. If all moments exist simultaneously, questions arise concerning the fluidity of identity and the nature of time as experienced from a human perspective. How do we conceive of change, choice, and causation if all points in time are equally real? Finally, the idea of causal networks adds complexity to our understanding of time and causality by emphasizing the intricate web of cause and effect relationships that shape reality. This framework suggests that events do not occur in isolation. Rather, they are interconnected through a complex system of influences that span across time and space. Causality in this sense is not linear. Instead, it presents a dynamic interdependence among events. Each action triggers a cascade of consequences, which in turn may affect other events, thereby creating a rich tapestry of interrelations. This perspective aligns with contemporary understandings in systems theory and complexity science, revealing that our universe operates through intricate interactions rather than simple linear sequences. The implications of causal networks lead to inquiries about free will, determinism, and accountability, as they prompt us to consider how our choices interact with a broader context of influences. In summary, the exploration of time and causality opens up diverse philosophical discussions that challenge conventional understandings of existence. Linear time provides a framework for discussing causation and the flow of experiences, while cyclical time invites consideration of patterns, regeneration, and continuity. The block universe theory reshapes our understanding of temporal existence, suggesting a static totality of being, and causal networks emphasize the interconnectedness of events within a complex web. Each perspective invites deeper reflection on the nature of reality, the experience of being, and the implications for human agency. Ultimately, these inquiries into time and causality enrich our philosophical landscape, encouraging us to grapple with the profound questions that underpin the fabric of existence itself. Metaphysics of identity. The metaphysics of identity delves into the fundamental questions of what it means to be an individual and how we recognize continuity and change over time. Personal identity is a central focus, examining the factors that render us the same person from childhood through adulthood and old age. This area of inquiry invites philosophical debates regarding the nature of identity, whether it is grounded in psychological continuity, bodily continuity, or another principle altogether. Personal identity raises profound questions about the criteria that establish individual selfhood over time. One influential perspective is psychological continuity, which posits that personal identity is defined by the persistence of psychological characteristics such as memories, personality traits, beliefs, and intentions. Philosophers like John Locke have famously argued that it is our consciousness, particularly our memories, that establishes continuity of self. According to this view, as long as someone can remember their past experiences and maintain an awareness of their identity, they remain the same person, regardless of physical changes to their body. Conversely, others emphasize bodily continuity, asserting that personal identity is tied to the physical body. In this view, as long as the same biological organism continues to exist, identity endures even if psychological states change drastically. This raises important questions about scenarios involving brain transplants or body swaps, challenging our intuitions about what truly constitutes identity. The Ship of Theseus paradox further complicates discussions of identity by exploring how change impacts persistence. This thought experiment asks, if a ship has all its wooden parts gradually replaced, is it still the same ship once all of its original components have been substituted? This paradox illustrates the complexities surrounding transformation and identity, specifically, what criteria we use to define an object's identity over time. If identity relies on the material composition of the ship, then replacing each part would lead to a new entity. Alternatively, if identity resides in the form or function of the ship, it may be regarded as the same vessel despite alterations. This paradox not only challenges our understanding of identity in physical objects, but also mirrors the questions surrounding personal identity in relation to the human experience of change and continuity over a lifetime. Finally, the notion of essential properties plays a crucial role in discussions about identity, particularly in distinguishing between what can change in an entity while it remains itself. Philosophers delineate between essential qualities, those characteristics that define the identity of an entity, and accidental qualities, traits that may vary without altering the fundamental nature of the being. For example, a tree's essence as a tree lies in its core properties, such as being a living organism that grows, photosynthesizes, and reproduces. Characteristics such as the color of its leaves or its height may change over time but do not affect its identity as a tree. This distinction is key when examining personal identity. What essential qualities make you who you are, regardless of what accidental traits may change? Understanding which properties are essential to identity and which are contingent can provide deeper insights into the nature of selfhood and continuity amidst change. In summary, the metaphysics of identity engages with profound questions about what it means to be an individual and how we account for the continuity of self over time. The debate surrounding personal identity raises critical inquiries into psychological versus bodily continuity, while the Ship of Theseus illustrates the intricacies of change and persistence. The discussion of essential properties compels us to consider what constitutes our identity amidst transformations. Together, these inquiries into identity not only enrich philosophical discourse but also resonate with our everyday experiences, challenging us to reflect on the nature of selfhood and the essence of our being as we navigate the complexities of life. Reality and perception. The relationship between reality and perception presents a profound inquiry into how individuals experience and understand the world around them. This exploration highlights the complexities of subjective experience, the limitations of human sensory perception, and the active construction of knowledge, prompting us to question the nature of reality itself. Subjective experience suggests that our perceptions create individualized versions of reality. Each person interacts with the world through their unique set of experiences, cognitive frameworks, and sensory inputs, leading to varied interpretations of the same phenomena. For instance, consider the color red. What appears bright and vibrant to one person may look muted or entirely different to another, depending on factors such as color vision anomalies, emotional associations, and contextual influences. This subjectivity raises critical questions about the nature of reality. If our experiences of the world are fundamentally individual and vary from person to person, can there be an objective reality that exists independently of our perceptions? This inquiry leads us to consider how much of our understanding is constructed through personal interpretation rather than an unbiased reflection of the world. Moreover, there are inherent sensory limitations that shape our perception, revealing that humans detect only a fraction of the available sensory information in the universe. Our sensory modalities, sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, are remarkably sophisticated, yet they are limited to specific ranges and types of stimuli. For instance, while humans can see a portion of the electromagnetic spectrum known as visible light, many animals possess the ability to perceive wavelengths beyond our capabilities, such as ultraviolet light or infrared radiation. Similarly, certain creatures can hear frequencies that are inaudible to the human ear. As a result, different organisms experience reality in fundamentally distinct ways, further complicating the notion of a singular objective reality. This variance in perception among species nudges us to acknowledge that our understanding of the universe is just one of many possible interpretations rather than an exhaustive representation of reality as it truly is. This leads us to the concept of the construction of knowledge, emphasizing that humans actively build their understanding of the world rather than passively receiving information. Our minds play a crucial role in shaping what we perceive and how we interpret sensory information. Cognitive processes such as attention, memory, and expectation heavily influence our perception, often filtering data based on pre-existing beliefs and contextual factors. This active construction means that individuals are not merely passive observers of reality. Rather, they engage in a dynamic interaction with their surroundings, using personal and cultural frameworks to make sense of experiences. This notion aligns with constructivist theories in psychology and education, which assert that knowledge is not simply transferred, but constructed through social interactions, experiences, and reflection. Together, these concepts reveal the intricate relationship between reality and perception, prompting us to grapple with significant philosophical questions. If subjective experiences shape our understanding of reality, how can we arrive at a shared understanding or consensus? What are the implications of our sensory limitations when it comes to defining truth and knowledge? Finally, how does the active construction of knowledge influence the way we interpret our experiences and navigate the complexities of existence? In summary, the exploration of reality and perception invites us to consider the multifaceted nature of human experience. Our subjective interpretations, shaped by individual perspectives, the sensory limitations we encounter, and our active engagement in building knowledge all contribute to the intricate tapestry of reality. These inquiries challenge us to reflect on the essence of truth, the nature of existence, and our capacity to understand the world around us. As we navigate this complex interplay, we are reminded of the richness of human perception and the profound questions that emerge from our quest for understanding. Metaphysical implications of science. The advent of modern physics has profoundly impacted our intuitive understanding of reality, challenging traditional metaphysical perspectives and prompting a re-evaluation of fundamental concepts such as space, time, and existence. As scientists explore the complexities of the universe through theories like string theory, cosmological models of multiverses, and the holographic principle, they reveal layers of reality that compel philosophical inquiry and provoke new metaphysical reflections. One of the most intriguing developments in contemporary physics is string theory, which postulates that the fundamental constituents of matter are not point-like particles, but rather one-dimensional strings, vibrating at different frequencies. This theory suggests a reality composed of additional spatial dimensions beyond the traditional three dimensions of space and one of time that we experience. In string theory, these extra dimensions are compactified, meaning they are folded up and not directly observable in our everyday experiences. The implication of this is profound. It challenges our fundamental notions of reality by positing that the universe is far more complex than our sensory experiences suggest. If the true nature of reality involves dimensions that we cannot perceive, what does that mean for our understanding of existence? This raises questions about the limits of human perception and how much of reality remains hidden from us, prompting metaphysical discussions about the nature and structure of existence itself. Furthermore, Modern cosmological models have introduced the possibility of multiverses, the idea that our universe is just one of many universes that exist simultaneously, potentially with varying physical laws and conditions. This perspective radically expands our conceptualization of reality, suggesting a vast cosmos teeming with diverse configurations of existence. If multiple universes coexist, what implications does this have for concepts such as identity, causality, and the uniqueness of our experiences? The notion of a multiverse introduces a significant philosophical dilemma regarding meaning and purpose. If there are innumerable versions of reality, each with its own variations of events in life, how do we discern significance in our existence? These cosmological interpretations compel us to reconsider our ontological frameworks and the definitions of reality itself. The holographic principle presents yet another profound reimagining of physical reality. This principle suggests that the entire information content of a volume of space can be represented as a two-dimensional surface, implying that our three-dimensional experience of the world is an emergent phenomenon rather than a fundamental aspect of reality. In this view, the universe functions similarly to a hologram, where the entirety of information is encoded on a boundary surface, and the three dimensions we perceive are projections of this two-dimensional information. Such a perspective challenges conventional notions of dimensionality, locality, and the nature of physical existence. If reality is fundamentally informational in nature, it invites philosophical discussions around the meaning of existence, the nature of consciousness, and the ways we construct our understanding of the universe. This concept also raises questions about the relationship between information, reality, and consciousness. How do we understand reality when it is considered a manifestation of information rather than a concrete entity? In summary, the metaphysical implications of advances in modern physics significantly reshape our understanding of existence and reality. String theory challenges our intuitive notions of space and dimensions. Cosmological models invite reflection on the significance of a multiversal existence, and the holographic principle redefines the very fabric of reality as information. Each of these developments stimulates deep philosophical inquiry, compelling us to confront questions about the nature of being, the limits of human perception, and the relationship between information and physical existence. As we navigate this intricate interplay between science and metaphysics, we find ourselves at the precipice of new understandings of reality, urging us to explore the profound mysteries that define not just the universe, but our place within it. Eastern philosophical perspectives. Eastern philosophies offer rich and diverse perspectives on the nature of reality, consciousness, and existence. These traditions frequently emphasize the interconnectedness of all things, the illusion of a separate self, and the dynamic processes that shape our experiences. Key philosophical viewpoints from Buddhism, Vedanta, and Taoism provide profound insights into understanding reality and existence. Buddhist emptiness, shunyata. In Buddhism, the concept of emptiness, shunyata, is central to understanding the nature of reality. According to this doctrine, all phenomena lack inherent existence. They do not possess an independent self-nature. Instead, things arise in dependence on various conditions and causes, what is known as dependent origination. This means that the existence of any entity is contingent upon a multitude of interacting factors, and nothing exists in isolation. Buddhist teachings assert that clinging to the notion of fixed substances or permanent identities leads to suffering. By realizing that all phenomena are empty of intrinsic essence, individuals can cultivate a view of reality that emphasizes interdependence rather than separateness. This insight encourages compassion and a profound understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings. Emptiness invites philosophical exploration into the nature of self and reality, challenging individuals to transcend dualistic thinking and to embrace the fluidity of existence. In this way, Buddhism promotes a dynamic understanding of reality that is constantly shifting, rather than a static one, anchored in fixed identities. Vedantic non-dualism, Advaita. In Vedanta, particularly Advaita Vedanta, the philosophy proposes a view of non-dualism wherein ultimate reality is identified as Brahman, the unified consciousness that pervades all existence. According to this perspective, the individual self, Atman, is not separate from Brahman, but rather it is identical with this ultimate reality. The apparent diversity and multiplicity in the universe, including individual identities and phenomena, are understood as Maya, or illusion, that conceals the fundamental oneness of existence. This non-dualistic view challenges conventional perceptions of identity and separateness, leading to the realization that the divisions we perceive are superficial. The understanding that Atman and Brahman are one encourages individuals to seek self-realization through practices such as meditation and self-inquiry. In this state of awareness, one can transcend the illusion of duality and experience the underlying unity of all beings. The metaphysical implications of Advaita Vedanta raise profound questions about the nature of consciousness, the self, and the relationship between the individual and the cosmos, promoting a vision of reality as an expression of a singular, undivided consciousness. Taoist naturalism. Taoism, particularly as articulated in texts like the Tao Te Ching, presents a perspective grounded in the idea that reality flows as an interplay of opposing yet complementary forces, famously symbolized by the yin-yang. This philosophy emphasizes the naturalness of existence, recognizing that all phenomena arise from the Tao, an ineffable source and pattern underlying all reality. The Tao is understood as the way, a fundamental principle that governs the dynamics of the universe. In Taoist thought, the concept of Wu Wei, non-action or effortless action, encourages individuals to align with the natural flow of reality rather than impose their will upon it. This perspective fosters an appreciation for the interconnectedness of all things, where harmony arises from acknowledging the interplay of opposites. Reality is viewed as a dynamic, ever-changing process rather than a fixed state, prompting reflections on the nature of existence that step away from rigid categorization towards a more fluid understanding. The Tao offers a metaphorical framework for entering into the rhythm of life, enabling individuals to perceive the underlying unity in the vibrant diversity of the world around them. Conclusion. The Eastern philosophical perspectives of Buddhist emptiness, Vedantic non-dualism, and Taoist naturalism provide profound insights into the nature of reality and existence. Each tradition highlights the interconnectedness of phenomena, challenges the notion of separate selfhood, and embraces the fluidity of existence. By engaging with these philosophical viewpoints, we gain valuable tools for understanding the complexities of reality, offering alternatives to Western metaphysical assumptions anchored in duality and fixed identities. These diverse perspectives encourage us to cultivate awareness, compassion, and harmony in our relationship with ourselves and the world, inviting deeper reflection on the nature of existence and our place within the cosmos. Contemporary metaphysical debates. Contemporary metaphysical discussions increasingly engage with advances in science and technology, leading to transformative and sometimes controversial inquiries into the nature of reality, consciousness, and existence. Among the pressing debates are the implications of the technological singularity, the exploration of dimensional theories, and the concept of possible universes stemming from developments in string theory. Each of these topics poses significant philosophical questions that challenge our traditional understandings of the world. Technological singularity. The concept of the technological singularity refers to a predicted point in the future when artificial intelligence, AI, surpasses human intelligence, leading to unprecedented changes in society and technology. Proponents of this idea, such as futurist Ray Kurzweil, suggest that once AI achieves a level of intelligence greater than that of humans, it could recursively improve itself, leading to rapid advancements beyond our current comprehension. This prospect raises profound metaphysical questions about the nature of the mind and consciousness. As we approach the singularity, philosophers and scientists grapple with questions such as, what does it mean for an entity to possess consciousness? Is digital intelligence truly analogous to human intelligence? Or is there something inherently unique about human cognition? If machines can think, learn, and potentially experience, how do we redefine concepts of self, agency, and consciousness? These inquiries challenge existing metaphysical frameworks and raise ethical concerns regarding the rights and roles of sentient AI. As technology continues to evolve, understanding the implications of the singularity on our conception of mind and identity becomes increasingly critical. Dimensional theories. Another significant area of contemporary metaphysical debate is the exploration of dimensional theories, particularly as they relate to string theory. String theory posits that the fundamental particles of the universe are not point-like objects, but rather tiny, vibrating strings. To accommodate the mathematical consistency of these theories, many versions propose the existence of additional spatial dimensions, beyond the familiar 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time, that are compactified or hidden from our direct perception. These theories challenge our conventional understanding of reality, prompting questions about the nature of existence itself. If extra dimensions exist, what does this imply for our perception of space and time? How do these dimensions influence the fundamental forces and particles that we observe? The exploration of higher dimensions invites us to reconsider our intuitions about the structure of the universe and the implications for causality, identity, and the fabric of reality. The dimensionality of existence becomes a central theme in metaphysical discourse, as it raises key philosophical questions about the limits of human understanding and the nature of objectively real phenomena. Possible universes. The notion of possible universes emerges prominently in contemporary discussions, particularly through the lens of string theory's predictions regarding a vast multiverse. According to these theories, there could be an immense number of potential configurations for universes, each with its own distinct physical laws and constants. This challenges the traditional conception of our universe as unique and fixed, suggesting instead that what we perceive may be just one of many possible realities. The implications of a multiverse are profound, with far-reaching philosophical consequences. For instance, if an infinite number of universes exist, what does that mean for the nature of existence, identity, and reality? How do we define meaning or significance in a cosmos where multiple iterations of events may occur, potentially leading to infinite variations of life and experience? Moreover, the multiverse raises questions about the nature of scientific inquiry and discovery. If there are other universes with different laws of physics, would our scientific models adequately reflect a singular truth or simply describe a subset of a broader reality? Conclusion. Contemporary metaphysical debates surrounding the technological singularity, dimensional theories, and possible universes enrich our understanding of existence and consciousness in the modern world. Each of these discussions invites critical reflection on the nature of reality, the implications of advanced technology, and the structure of the universe as we seek to comprehend our place within it. As we navigate these emerging topics in metaphysics, we are compelled to confront the complexities of existence and the potential for transformative discoveries that could reshape our understanding of reality. In this dynamic landscape, the intersection of philosophy and science serves as a vital arena for exploring the profound questions that define human experience in an increasingly intricate world. Ethical and existential implications. The intersection of metaphysics with ethics and existential understanding reveals deep implications concerning moral foundations, the search for meaning, and the nature of individuality. Our philosophical perspectives shape our ethical frameworks, influence our conception of purpose, and inform our approaches to existential inquiry. By examining these relationships, we see how metaphysical beliefs can significantly shape our understanding of morality, meaning, and human existence. Moral foundations. The foundations of our ethics are invariably influenced by our understanding of reality, a relationship that underscores the interplay between metaphysics and morality. Different metaphysical views lead to varying conceptions of good and evil. For instance, materialism, which holds that the physical world is the only reality, often emphasizes consequentialist ethics. In this view, moral judgments are rooted in the consequences of actions. The rightness or wrongness of an act is determined by its outcomes. This perspective can engender a pragmatic approach to ethics that focuses on promoting overall welfare, happiness, or utility. Conversely, idealism, which posits that reality is primarily mental or spiritual, tends to support virtue-based ethical approaches. In this framework, moral values may be tied to the development of character and the cultivation of virtues such as courage, honesty, and compassion. Idealism's emphasis on the importance of ideals and moral principles can foster a moral obligation to pursue a higher ethical standard independent of mere consequences. Consequently, the metaphysical underpinning of a belief system influences the types of ethical frameworks it generates, shaping how individuals navigate moral dilemmas and make ethical decisions. Meaning and purpose. Metaphysical perspectives also play a vital role in shaping how individuals seek meaning and purpose in life. Theistic views, which often posit a transcendent reality or divine being, typically provide a sense of purpose that stems from a relationship with the divine or adherence to divine commandments. In this framework, life's purpose may be viewed as fulfilling a divine plan, adhering to moral laws, or achieving spiritual growth. The belief in a higher power often imbues existence with significance, directing individuals toward an overarching purpose that transcends immediate experiences. In contrast, naturalism, which asserts that the universe is governed by natural laws and does not invoke the supernatural, emphasizes self-created meaning. In a naturalistic framework, individuals may be empowered to derive their own sense of purpose and value through personal experiences, relationships, and accomplishments. This perspective encourages a more individualistic approach to meaning, suggesting that significance is constructed through human agency rather than bestowed from an external source. Consequently, naturalism invites a diverse array of meanings, reflecting the uniqueness of human experiences and the capacity for creativity in shaping one's life narrative. Existential approaches. Existentialism further enriches discussions of meaning and purpose by focusing on lived experience rather than abstract metaphysical systems. Existentialists emphasize that individuals confront the realities of existence, including freedom, choice, and the inherent absurdity of life. Figures such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir argue that meaning is not given, but must be created through authentic engagement with the world. In this pragmatic and often introspective approach, individuals are called to take responsibility for their choices and to define their own essence through action. This emphasis on authenticity and choice challenges individuals to confront their own existence, urging them to forge paths that resonate with their values and desires. The existentialist perspective posits that understanding reality arises through direct human experience, acknowledging the complexities, anxieties, and joys that accompany life. This approach invites critical reflection on the role of consciousness and decision-making in shaping one's identity and the meaning derived from that existence. Conclusion. The ethical and existential implications stemming from metaphysical perspectives provide rich terrain for philosophical inquiry. Our understanding of reality not only influences our moral frameworks, shaping conceptions of good and evil, but also profoundly impacts our search for meaning and purpose in life. Theistic views may offer transcendent direction, while naturalistic perspectives empower individual agency in constructing significance. Meanwhile, existentialism emphasizes the authenticity of lived experience as the basis for understanding reality and defining personal identity. As we navigate these diverse themes, we are encouraged to reflect deeply on how our metaphysical beliefs inform our ethical choices and shape our understanding of what it means to live a meaningful life in a complex and often ambiguous world. The interplay between metaphysics, ethics, and existential inquiry provides valuable insights into how we understand morality, meaning, and the nature of existence. Our metaphysical views profoundly influence our ethical frameworks, shape our search for purpose, and inform how we experience and navigate our lives. The construction of moral frameworks is significantly influenced by our understanding of reality. Different metaphysical positions lead to distinct conceptions of good and evil. For instance, materialism, which posits that the physical world is the primary reality, often aligns with consequentialist ethics. In this framework, the moral value of an action is determined by its consequences. Advocates of materialism focus on outcomes, emphasizing effectiveness and utility in ethical considerations. This perspective encourages a pragmatic approach to morality, concentrating on the real-world impacts of actions rather than their adherence to abstract principles. On the other hand, idealism tends to support virtue-based ethical approaches. In idealist thought, the nature of reality is primarily mental or spiritual, leading to an emphasis on character, intent, and moral ideals. Virtue ethics focuses on the development of moral character, arguing that cultivating virtues such as compassion, honesty, and wisdom should guide ethical behavior. This approach underscores the importance of the moral state of the actor and the inherent qualities that define a good life, suggesting that goodness arises from the fulfillment of one's potential and commitment to higher ideals. Metaphysical perspectives significantly shape how individuals find meaning and purpose in their lives. Theistic views often provide a framework that offers transcendent purpose. Many religious traditions assert that life gains meaning through a relationship with the divine or adherence to divine criteria for conduct. The belief in a higher power or a cosmic plan can instill significance that transcends everyday experiences, guiding individuals toward moral and spiritual fulfillment based on loyalty to a transcendent ideal. In contrast, naturalism emphasizes self-created meaning. In a naturalistic understanding of reality, meaning is not inherent but must be constructed through personal experiences, relationships, and achievements. This view empowers people to define their own purpose and values through their unique perspectives, allowing for a diverse array of interpretations of what makes life meaningful. Unlike theistic perspectives that offer fixed interpretative frameworks, Naturalism celebrates fluidity and personal agency in discovering one's purpose. Existentialism further enriches discussions of meaning and purpose by emphasizing lived experience and the authentic engagement with reality. Existentialists focus on the individual's subjective experience rather than adherence to purely abstract metaphysical systems. Thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir advocate for the importance of personal choice, responsibility, and authenticity as central to understanding one's reality. From this perspective, the essence of a person is forged through actions and choices rather than determined by external circumstances or metaphysical doctrines. This emphasis on authenticity and choice challenges individuals to confront the existential realities of life, freedom, absurdity, and the search for authenticity, highlighting that meaning is not externally provided, but must be actively shaped through human experience. Existentialists encourage individuals to embrace their freedom to create their own values and purposes in an often indifferent universe. As we consider the future of metaphysical inquiry, we find it poised for exciting developments, particularly as advancements in various fields prompt new perspectives on long-standing philosophical questions. Metaphysics, an ongoing journey. Metaphysics is a continuous journey of inquiry that remains vital to our understanding of existence and reality. At the heart of this exploration lies a commitment to questioning, where each answer brings forth deeper and more intricate inquiries about the nature of reality. This unending pursuit encourages us to examine fundamental concepts such as identity, time, space, and consciousness, ensuring that our philosophical inquiries adapt to the complexities of our evolving understanding. Our metaphysical explorations are rooted in a rich philosophical heritage that builds upon centuries of thought. The questions posed by ancient philosophers continue to resonate within contemporary discourse, reminding us that inquiries into the nature of existence are timeless. As we grapple with issues such as the essence of being, the nature of causality, and the pursuit of a meaningful life, we find that the insights of the past provide valuable guidance in addressing the challenges we face today. Furthermore, expanding horizons characterized by new discoveries are continually transforming our understanding of reality. The interplay between science and philosophy enriches our metaphysical inquiries, revealing how empirical findings can illuminate concepts previously confined to abstract speculation. As advancements in fields like neuroscience, physics, and biology unfold, they prompt us to reconsider long-held beliefs and adapt our frameworks for understanding existence. The dialogue between science and metaphysics serves as a catalyst for newfound insights, allowing us to explore the intricate tapestry of reality in ever greater depth. Lastly, metaphysics plays a crucial role in personal navigation, helping individuals orient their lives within an often uncertain world. By providing frameworks for understanding the complexities of existence, metaphysical inquiry encourages us to seek meaning amid the chaos of modern life. It allows us to reflect on our place in the universe and the values that guide our actions, fostering a sense of purpose and coherence in our experiences. In this way, metaphysics empowers us to engage with the world thoughtfully and intentionally, shaping our understanding of reality while navigating the intricate paths of existence. In summary, the journey of metaphysics is ongoing and dynamic, characterized by continuous questioning, a deep philosophical heritage, expanding knowledge through scientific discovery, and personal exploration. As we pursue these inquiries, we not only enrich our understanding of the world, but also cultivate a greater appreciation for the profound connections between thought, existence, and the search for meaning. Through this ongoing engagement, metaphysics remains an essential part of our quest for truth and understanding in a complex, ever-evolving universe.